Remember how kids look at the world? Everything is alive. Everything is possible. They haven't yet been taught the limits. A stick can be a sword. A cloud can be a dragon. They don't see the world as fixed, and so they see magic everywhere. What if the only thing that separates a visionary from someone who's stuck is the ability to keep imagining? We're told to accept life as it is. But what if that acceptance is the very prison? What if the bars around your life aren't made of circumstance, but belief? Try this mental reset. Imagine waking up with no memory of who you are, no past, no story, just the present moment. Who would you be? The truth is, you already have that power. You're not your past, you're not your pain, you're not the story you've repeated so many times that it feels like identity. You are the awareness underneath the story, and that awareness is free. Here's something practical. Tonight, before bed, pretend life is a simulation. Everything that happens tomorrow only occurs because you expect it to. Just play with the idea. How would you show up? Would you speak with more conviction? Take more creative risks? Show up more honestly? Feel less afraid of failure? That shift in mindset might feel small, but it cracks open the door to everything. Because the deepest suffering often comes from invisible cages. Cages of fear, of rejection, of expectations. But the material of those cages, belief. So ask yourself, when did you stop believing you were allowed to imagine something more? Was it when you failed? When someone laughed at your dream? When the world told you that safety mattered more than truth? You don't need to stay in that cage, but you do need to question what built it. Alan Watts once said, "The menu is not the meal. We confuse the map for the journey. We confuse the story for the self. But who you really are can't be defined in words. You're not your name, not your job, not your thoughts. You are the presence that notices all of it. And when you live from that presence, the world starts to reveal itself again, not as a rigid machine, but as a living mystery." That's why mystics, philosophers, and even scientists keep circling back to the same idea. Reality isn't fixed, it's fluid, responsive, interactive. So why not shape it intentionally? Because here's what most people never hear. You're allowed to become someone new. Not because the old you was broken, but because you've outgrown who you thought you had to be. Every morning is a blank canvas. Every breath is a brushstroke. Every moment, a chance to begin again. So the next time your inner critic says, "I can't," pause. Ask, where did that voice come from? Whose belief am I carrying? And what happens if I stop believing it? You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to wait until you're fearless. You just need to get curious. Because the moment you do, the spell begins to break. The fog lifts. The path opens. And you remember something powerful. You were never broken. You were never small. You were simply playing a role that was never yours. So here's your invitation. Live like your thoughts are options, not commands. Live like your past is a lesson, not a sentence. Live like your life is a piece of art, and you are both the creator and the creation, because you are. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You just need a moment of awareness, and the courage to follow it. And maybe that moment is this one. So I'll leave you with one question. If today wasn't a rehearsal, if this was the real thing, what would you dare to change? Let that question guide you. Let it disrupt you, because in that discomfort, your awakening begins.